Did you know that millions of people in Australia could be facing deportation by 2026? Experts are warning that a massive crackdown is coming, and it could affect students, workers, and even long-term residents who thought they were safe. Imagine waking up one day to find that all your papers, your job, and even your home are at risk, and you have nowhere to turn. Governments don't usually announce this kind of plan openly, which is why this leaked information is sending shockwaves across the country. But why now? What triggered this unprecedented move, and who exactly is on the list? In this video, we're breaking down the 10 shocking reasons why people could be deported, from minor visa mistakes to serious legal issues. By the end, you'll understand exactly what's happening and what it could mean for millions of lives.
One of the most common yet easily overlooked reasons people end up on Australia's deportation list is overstaying their visas. It might sound simple, but even a few days beyond your visa's expiration can put you on the government's radar. And in 2026, authorities are expected to enforce these rules more strictly than ever. Think about it. Every year, thousands of visitors, students, and temporary workers unintentionally overstay their visas. Some may forget to renew, others may miscalculate dates, and many assume minor delays won't matter. But Australia's immigration system doesn't take it lightly. According to immigration reports, overstaying is one of the top reasons non-citizens are flagged, and once flagged, it can trigger a domino effect leading to deportation. This crackdown isn't just about numbers, it's about maintaining control over who can legally stay in the country. For those affected, the consequences are life-altering: jobs lost, families separated, and years of life built in Australia suddenly put at risk. So how can you protect yourself? First, always track your visa's expiry date carefully. Set reminders months in advance to start renewal procedures. Second, if your visa is due for expiration, apply early and keep all documentation organized. Even small mistakes can be costly. Finally, if you've already overstayed, seek legal advice immediately, because delaying action can make deportation almost inevitable. In 2026, the authorities won't just look at criminal or high-risk cases. Millions could be affected simply because their visa ended, turning what seems like a minor oversight into a life-changing crisis. Another major reason people could end up on Australia's 2026 deportation list is criminal convictions. And here's the shocking part: it doesn't only apply to violent crimes. Even what some might consider minor offenses, theft, drug possession, or fraud, can put non-citizens at risk of being removed from the country. Australia takes criminal activity very seriously when it comes to immigration. The law states that any offense resulting in a prison sentence of 12 months or more can trigger deportation proceedings. This means a single conviction, even if it happened years ago, can come back to haunt you. In some cases, authorities are reviewing past records to catch long-term residents who believed they were safe. Imagine this: you've built a life in Australia, you have a family, a home, and a job. Then an old criminal record is flagged, and suddenly everything you've worked for could be taken away. Experts warn that in 2026, the government is expected to prioritize these cases, leaving very little room for leniency. So what can you do? First, always be aware of your legal rights and avoid situations that could lead to criminal charges. If you already have a conviction, it's critical to seek legal counsel immediately, as some cases may have options for appeal or mitigation. Staying informed and proactive could literally save your life in Australia. Criminal convictions are not just legal issues, they are life-altering triggers that could place millions at risk in the upcoming deportation sweep. Even a single misstep could dramatically change your future. Your opinion matters. Drop a comment below and tell us what you think about the 2026 deportation list. We put hours of research and effort into every video, so if you found this helpful, subscribe to our channel. It's just one click.
Many people don't realize it, but one of the most common reasons for deportation in Australia is simply breaching the conditions of your visa. And the scary part? These are often small, seemingly harmless mistakes that can have life-changing consequences. Visa conditions are strict. They dictate everything from how many hours you can work to where you can study and even which type of employment is allowed. Exceeding these limits or failing to comply in any way can put you directly on the government's radar. For example, international students who work more than the allowed hours or temporary workers who take a job outside their visa category could suddenly find themselves facing deportation proceedings. What makes this even more alarming is that authorities are now expected to monitor compliance more rigorously than ever in 2026. Reports suggest that automated systems and cross-check databases will flag breaches almost instantly, leaving little room for error. This means that even minor violations that once went unnoticed could now trigger removal actions. So how can you stay safe? First, read and fully understand your visa conditions. Don't assume anything is allowed without confirmation. Second, keep meticulous records of your work hours, study schedule, and any official approvals. And third, if you're unsure about compliance, seek advice from a registered immigration professional before it's too late. In short, breaching immigration conditions is not just a technicality, it's a direct ticket to the deportation list, and in 2026, the authorities may show zero tolerance. Staying vigilant and informed could be the difference between keeping your life in Australia or facing sudden removal. One of the most serious and frightening reasons someone could end up on Australia's 2026 deportation list is national security concerns. Unlike other reasons, this isn't about minor paperwork errors or overstaying a visa. This is about being considered a threat to the country's safety. And the consequences are immediate, severe, and often irreversible. National security laws give authorities the power to deport anyone suspected of activities that could endanger the nation. This includes links to terrorism, espionage, or organized crime, but it can also extend to individuals who are perceived to have associations with certain groups or who engage in suspicious activities. In some cases, people have been flagged simply because of their online activity or past connections, even if no crime has been committed. The scary reality is that these cases are rarely publicized, making it feel like the system operates in the shadows. For those affected, the outcome is life-altering: sudden deportation, family separation, and loss of career and home. With the 2026 crackdown, experts warn that authorities will review records more extensively than ever, targeting individuals who may have been under the radar until now. So what can you do to protect yourself? First, be aware of your associations and activities, both online and offline. Avoid risky behavior that could trigger security flags. Second, if you are ever approached or investigated, seek immediate legal advice. Waiting could make things worse. In short, national security concerns are not just a bureaucratic matter. They are a high-stakes trigger that could change someone's life overnight. In 2026, even being flagged mistakenly could place millions in danger of deportation. Staying informed, cautious, and proactive is absolutely critical.
Another major reason people could end up on Australia's 2026 deportation list is fraudulent documentation. This is one of the most alarming triggers because it can apply to almost anyone, from first-time applicants to long-term residents. Even a single incorrect form, missing signature, or misrepresented fact can put you on the government's radar. Fraud isn't just about obvious lies. It can include mistakes like using expired documents, submitting incomplete forms, or even relying on unofficial translations. Authorities consider this a serious breach of trust, and the consequences are harsh. People found guilty of document fraud often face immediate deportation, fines, and permanent bans from returning to Australia. The 2026 crackdown is expected to target even minor discrepancies in immigration paperwork. With advanced systems scanning applications and cross-referencing data, small errors that may have once gone unnoticed are now likely to trigger investigations.
This means that millions could be at risk simply because of oversights in their visa applications. So how can you protect yourself? First, always use official documents and accurate information when applying for visas or renewing them. Second, double-check all forms for completeness and accuracy. Even minor errors can be costly. Third, if you're unsure about any paperwork, consult a registered immigration agent or lawyer before submitting anything. Fraudulent documentation isn't just a technical issue, it's a life-altering mistake. In 2026, authorities are expected to take a zero-tolerance approach, which could put millions in jeopardy. Staying meticulous, informed, and cautious could be the difference between keeping your life in Australia or facing sudden, irreversible deportation. It might sound unbelievable, but another reason people could be deported from Australia in 2026 is public health risks. This doesn't mean common illnesses like a cold or flu. We're talking about serious health conditions or situations that could pose a threat to the community. And while this reason is rare, its impact is devastating for those affected. Authorities have the power to deport non-citizens if their health condition is considered a significant risk to public safety or if it could place a heavy burden on Australia's healthcare system. This includes situations where individuals might require extensive medical treatment that the government deems unsustainable or could inadvertently contribute to outbreaks of dangerous diseases. What makes this even more alarming is that the criteria are sometimes broad and open to interpretation. People who thought they were safe, including long-term residents, may suddenly find themselves under review. Experts warn that in the 2026 crackdown, health-related deportations could increase, particularly for non-citizens who are unable to prove they can meet healthcare obligations or who fail to disclose certain medical conditions. So how can you protect yourself? First, always provide accurate medical information when applying for visas or renewals. Transparency is crucial. Second, maintain adequate health insurance and keep documentation up to date. Finally, if you have concerns about your status due to a medical condition, seek advice from immigration experts immediately. Public health risks may be rare compared to other reasons for deportation, but the consequences are life-altering. In 2026, even health-related issues could put millions of residents on the government's radar, showing just how strict Australia's immigration enforcement is expected to become. Staying informed and proactive is critical to avoid being caught off guard. One of the most unpredictable reasons people could face deportation in 2026 is policy changes. Immigration rules aren't static. Governments can introduce new laws, tighten existing regulations, or completely change eligibility criteria. And when that happens, even residents who have lived in Australia for years could suddenly find themselves at risk. Policy changes can affect anyone, from temporary workers and international students to long-term visa holders. For example, a visa that was valid under previous rules might become non-compliant under new legislation. This means that actions or conditions that were perfectly legal yesterday could now trigger deportation proceedings tomorrow. The 2026 crackdown is expected to include targeted enforcement based on these new policies, making millions vulnerable overnight. The unsettling part is that policy changes are often implemented quickly, with little warning. Residents may assume they are safe because they have followed the rules in the past, but governments can update immigration frameworks with immediate effect. Experts warn that authorities will actively review cases to ensure compliance with the latest regulations, leaving no room for assumptions. So, how can you protect yourself? First, stay informed about any changes to immigration law, including visa conditions, residency requirements, and work restrictions. Second, regularly check official government updates and announcements. Third, if you're unsure whether new policies affect your status, seek professional legal guidance immediately. Acting quickly could be the difference between staying or being removed. Policy changes may seem abstract, but in reality, they can alter the lives of millions in an instant. In 2026, Australia's immigration system is expected to operate with unprecedented strictness, making vigilance and preparedness more important than ever. Another reason people could land on Australia's 2026 deportation list is employment violations. And this is where many residents get caught off guard. It's not just about working illegally, it's about breaking the specific conditions tied to your visa, even unintentionally. Australia's immigration system strictly regulates who can work, where, and how many hours. For example, student visas limit the number of hours you can work per week, and certain work visas restrict employment to specific industries or employers. Going beyond these limits or taking a job that's not authorized under your visa can put you directly in the government's crosshairs. Even if you've been employed for years without issue, one violation could suddenly trigger deportation proceedings. The upcoming 2026 crackdown is expected to target employment violations more rigorously than ever. Authorities will likely cross-check employers' records with visa restrictions, meaning that even minor infractions could be flagged automatically. This makes compliance critical. What once may have seemed like a harmless decision could now have life-altering consequences. So, how can you protect yourself? First, stay informed about any changes to immigration law, including visa conditions, residency requirements, and work restrictions. Second, regularly check official government updates and announcements. Third, if you're unsure whether new policies affect your status, seek professional legal guidance immediately. Acting quickly could be the difference between staying or being removed. Policy changes may seem abstract, but in reality, they can alter the lives of millions in an instant. In 2026, Australia's immigration system is expected to operate with unprecedented strictness, making vigilance and preparedness more important than ever. It may sound shocking, but another reason people could be deported from Australia in 2026 is financial instability. Yes, your income, savings, or inability to meet certain financial requirements could make you vulnerable to removal, even if you've lived in the country for years. Many visas, including student, work, and temporary residency visas, require proof that you can support yourself without becoming a burden on public services. Falling short of these requirements, failing to provide documentation, or showing insufficient income could trigger authorities to review your status and, in some cases, place you on the deportation list. The 2026 crackdown is expected to target this issue more aggressively. Reports suggest that authorities will cross-check bank statements, tax records, and financial declarations, flagging anyone who doesn't meet the strict criteria. Even long-term residents who thought they were secure may suddenly find themselves under investigation. The reality is that financial instability isn't just inconvenient, it can be life-changing. So how can you protect yourself? First, maintain clear and accurate records of your income and savings. Keep tax filings, pay slips, and bank statements organized and up to date. Second, ensure that you meet the financial requirements for your specific visa at all times. Don't assume that past compliance guarantees future safety. Third, if you face financial difficulties, seek professional advice immediately to understand your options and avoid mistakes that could jeopardize your status. In short, financial instability may seem like a private concern, but in 2026, it could become a direct reason for deportation. Staying proactive, organized, and informed about your financial responsibilities is not just smart, it's essential for protecting your life and future in Australia. It may sound unbelievable, but in 2026, millions of people in Australia could face deportation simply because of incomplete or expired visa applications. Even if you followed all the rules, forgetting to submit documents, missing deadlines, or letting your application lapse can put you directly on the government's radar. Immigration authorities consider timely and complete applications as a fundamental requirement for legal residency. When documents are missing, outdated, or inaccurate, it's viewed as a breach of compliance, and in the upcoming crackdown, even minor mistakes could trigger immediate removal procedures. Think about it. Years of living, working, and studying in Australia could be jeopardized because of one overlooked form or a missed deadline. The 2026 deportation plan reportedly involves meticulous cross-checking of millions of applications, making it harder than ever to slip through the cracks. Authorities may flag individuals whose visas have expired or whose renewal applications are incomplete, even if they were unaware of the issue. This isn't just bureaucratic red tape, it's a life-altering trigger. So what can you do to avoid this fate? First, always track your visa expiry dates carefully. Use reminders and calendars to ensure you start renewal procedures well in advance. Second, review all documents thoroughly before submission, making sure nothing is missing or incorrect. Finally, if you suspect your application is incomplete or delayed, seek professional immigration advice immediately to prevent serious consequences. Incomplete or expired applications may seem like a minor issue, but in 2026, they could determine whether you stay or leave Australia. Staying organized, vigilant, and proactive is absolutely critical. One small mistake could change your life forever.
Australia's 2026 deportation plan is more than just a policy, it's a wake-up call. Millions of people, from students and temporary workers to long-term residents, could suddenly find their lives turned upside down. From overstaying visas to criminal convictions, employment violations, or even minor paperwork mistakes, the reasons are numerous and in some cases surprisingly small. What makes this situation alarming is the scale and rigor of the crackdown. Authorities are reportedly cross-checking millions of records, reviewing past mistakes, and enforcing rules with unprecedented strictness. That means even individuals who thought they were safe may be at risk. Families could be separated, careers destroyed, and communities disrupted, all because of factors that are sometimes preventable. The key takeaway is clear. In 2026, staying informed, vigilant, and proactive will be more important than ever. Understanding these 10 reasons gives you a roadmap to protect yourself and your loved ones. The stakes are high, but knowledge and preparation can make the difference between security and sudden upheaval. While the 2026 deportation plan sounds frightening, there are concrete steps you can take to protect yourself and reduce your risk. The first and most critical step is staying informed. Keep up to date with your visa conditions, government announcements, and any policy changes. Ignorance can be costly. One overlooked update could trigger serious consequences. Second, maintain meticulous records. Track visa expiry dates, employment hours, financial documents, and health information. Even minor errors in paperwork can put you on the radar, so make sure all forms are accurate, complete, and submitted on time. Use calendars, reminders, and secure document storage to avoid mistakes. Third, seek professional guidance. Immigration lawyers and registered agents can review your status, catch potential issues, and provide advice before problems escalate. Acting early is critical. Waiting until a notice or investigation arrives may be too late. Fourth, proactively address risks. If you have a criminal record, financial difficulties, or health concerns, take steps to demonstrate compliance and responsibility. Ensure you meet all visa requirements, including employment limits and income thresholds. Finally, communicate openly and legally with authorities if issues arise. Being transparent, cooperative, and prepared can improve your chances of resolving potential deportation matters without immediate removal. By combining vigilance, organization, legal support, and proactive action, you can significantly reduce your risk and safeguard your life in Australia. In 2026, preparation isn't optional, it's essential. Knowledge, action, and foresight could mean the difference between staying and being forced to leave.
If this video opened your eyes to the shocking 2026 deportation list, we want to hear your thoughts and experiences. Comment below and let's start the conversation. Don't forget to check out our previous video for more eye-opening updates. We put countless hours into making these videos to keep you informed. So if you found this helpful, support us and hit that subscribe button. It's just one click.